All right, fellas. Welcome back to Doremicom channel. It's time to start season 3 of the RTD, episode 1, and it goes to 11. That's right, there's 11 questions, and we are filming it for the second time. Why? We're not going into that. Anyways, the topic of this RTD is all about the local gaming tournament. Tournaments provide a lot of opportunities. 1, day or days of uninterrupted gaming. 2, a chance to show off the army you've been taking months to assemble and paint. 3, a chance to show off your tactical prowess. But there's a flip side to these events. They are attractive venues for 1, power gaming D-bags, 2, hobbyist D-bags, and 3, a large amount of complaining and unsportsmanlike conduct regardless of the prize involved. We will try to stay away from the question, are tournaments good or bad, and focus on what a local gaming store tournament is and how it should be run. With me today are my panel. Let's see if we can get this to work. Yeah, hey, all right. With me today are my panel. Guess what? We got 5 people here. We got BootlegPainting. The SustainableCenter, Tony F.
I'm uploading videos right now.
John from WarGamePainting.
It's cold up here at the North Pole.
Co-host SolidSmurf.
I'm unprepared.
Fantastic. The funny thing is that Smurf is unprepared, even though this is the second time we are filming this. Anyways, question number 1.
Unprepared.
Knowing that many tournament organizers volunteer their time, especially at the local level, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being none, 10 being the ultimate flexibility, down to changing core rules. How much flexibility should the organizer have? And for this, we're going to start actually with our least prepared person, SolidSmurf.
I am going to go with about a 9, an 8.5 to a 9. It is their tournament. They can do what they want. If you don't like it, you can get out.
All right. Tony.
5, I think that they should have some flexibility given it is their time, but there needs to be some core principles around what a tournament is, and you're only going to hurt yourself if you don't keep to them, so 5.
Okay. John from WarGamePainting.
The goose egg. If I'm going and spending my time at a tournament, there is no reason that I should go there and not play a legitimate game of whatever I'm playing. I'm going to a tournament because it's a tournament. I know the rule sets. I'm going for the rule set. If I wanted to go to something fun and happy, I'd go to a carnival.
You heard first.
You were just at that one.
John likes to go to things that aren't fun.
John hates fun. He's a fun killer.
I do.
That's why he lives where he lives.
9. It's his tournament. I mean, plain and simple. He's the one putting it on. If he wants to change something, you don't have to play in it.
All right. I'm going to give you my 2 cents. I'm going to say it's actually closer to a 7, which is the number I meant to say. But the reason that it needs to be a 7 is that, again, if you're volunteering your time, you know what? As long as you make your crazy changes publicly available before people start laying down the dinero, then, you should have kind of crazy flexibility. If no one shows up, then maybe you'll be replaced and someone else will be organizing. But, I think it should be a 7. Continued discussion. And wow, got it right off like that. Okay, continued discussion.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump out there and say you're absolutely right. As long as they're posted ahead of time and I get some foresight as to what I'm going into, and a tornado that appears out of nowhere every 10 turns and it eats half my army is there for me to see before I sit down to play, I'm fine with it. But
well, and because I think if you just are playing the game, then I don't understand why I'd be wanting to pay money to go to this thing. I mean, yes, you get a full day of gaming in, but if there aren't some differences, some kind of, it's kind of, to me, it'd be like going to a miniature golf course, but you go to one that happens to have no windmills and no moving animals, and it's just you, the ball, and the hole. You know what I'm saying?
So you're playing golf then, as opposed to miniature golf.
Well, yeah,
that's what you're saying.
But the distance.
That's the difference between tournaments and fluffy tournaments. Is one is golf and the other one is miniature.
No.
When you bring your kids to the other one, you go do it because you're stressed and you want to play.
Well, but it's still miniature golf because the distance between where you're starting from and where the hole is still only 10 feet.
Okay, so it's like golf should be. where it's not difficult to get the ball into the hole.
Any continued thoughts, Tony?
I think that, there needs to be some structure around it. I mean, my 5 number is saying we're trying to obtain the largest market. So I think the cut out the bad crap, leave the good stuff in. That's where that 5 comes in. We have to drive to best practices. We can't just make up random stuff, because then you're going to have a tournament with 2 people showing up. So.
But maybe those 2 people are the cool people. Any other talk before we jump to question number 2?
Yeah, there's a local tournament. I won't name what it is, but me and John have talked about this particular tournament, and we've decided to allow codexes from like 2nd edition and 3rd and a bunch of other stuff that's fan made, and you can bring whatever you want. And people sign up for it, and I don't get it, but it's cool. I mean, just because the organizer can do whatever he wants doesn't mean he should.
Okay, but we're saying what flexibility they should be allowed. You still set like a 9, and you're sticking with that answer.
He should have total control. I'm sticking by that. But just because he should.
And move on to question number 2 now. Question number 2. Briefly describe the best balanced scoring system for a 40K tournament. Oh, by the way, all the questions here thus far are strictly speaking about 40K local gaming store tournaments. So briefly describe the best balanced scoring system for a 40K tournament, and how should the prizes be awarded? We're going to start this off with Tony.
Oh, I wasn't really ready for this. So the scoring system should just be the battle points, and it should be designed, to minimize ties. It should not be based on painting. You can have a separate tournament for that, or competition. It shouldn't be based on sportsmanship, although we should be tracking it and monitoring it. It should be based on how you do in the game, because that's what you're there to do, is do the game. We have side events if you want it. And again, battle points with bonuses to try to confer the least chance of probability for a tie to occur given the number of participants.
Okay, so again, going back to what you're saying, battle points, how should the battle points be determined?
It should be you get points for, I don't believe in getting points for a loss. I believe that you should get points for a win and a draw, and you can make the wins minor wins or major wins. And the battle points can range anywhere between, you hear 3, 7, 9, 7, 9, 11. Whatever the math works out for the number of people you're inviting to try to minimize the probability of ties statistically. So there's going to have to be some variance in there, but you're going to have to do that calculation.
All right, John from WarGamePainting, what's your 2 cents?
I got to agree. I don't believe in giving out points for losses. If you lose, you don't deserve points, plain and simple. And then as far as, again, statistics for eliminating probability of ties is the best way to go with it. If it's, like Tony said, 3, 7, 9, if it's any combination like that, fine. If it gets, really crazy and you got to get 12 as your highest win points, fine, whatever. Just give out scorecards. As far as prizes being awarded, it should be first place, second place, third place, integrals of depending on how many people show up, but nobody after third place should get a prize. There's no runner-up. There's no pat on the back for showing up. None of that. You're coming to a tournament to win. That should be the mindset of everybody going into it, and that's how prizes should be awarded out.
All right. Maybe we can get a little more cuddly feeling here. Let's start with SolidSmurf. What's your thoughts?
0, 1, 2. 0 points for a loss, 1 point for a draw, 2 points for a win. That simple. Whoever has the most points at the end of the day gets a prize.
And hopefully there aren't 50 contestants there, because then you would have issues with that scoring system.
Right. That's for a basic. It works. Don't knock it.
All right. Dale, what's your thoughts?
I don't know a perfect scoring system. I haven't seen one yet. I agree with Tony's. I don't like the sportsmanship and the painting. That's something else. We're here to battle. I don't care how fancy your stuff is. But I don't have a good system to use.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. I'm going to say that, again, based on the fact that the flexibility is so high, that honestly there should be a lot of flexibility on how you're running your game if you're going to theme it, right? make it a fluffy tournament, make it a whatever tournament, and score it that way. However, on a core tournament level, again, I kind of like the notion of 2-1-0 that Smurf kind of threw out there, with one caveat, which is go ahead and create these minor and major objectives to provide some kind of prime numbers assigned to them, just to eliminate any notion of ties once you get to a certain level. So, if you have this person who's just kind of mindset focused on doing total annihilation, that's fine. If you have someone who's a little more strategic and wanting those extra little points just in case there's a tie, then it gets applied. I also agree that painting and sportsmanship, unfortunately, those are areas that can be abused because there's no real. It's less of a objective scoring system. You guys have your Golden Demon Awards. Throw a painting competition if you want to focus in on that aspect. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it should be probably a different venue. Continue discussion.
I totally agree. For example, that tournament I was talking about earlier, it had like 2 pages of how to judge your opponent's army, and they get comp points for that. And some of it was just kind of hokey, like they have master control of their brush. How do you know? How do you know someone else didn't paint it for them? Just throw it out, It's like, look, I have mastered the control of the brush with the low cost of $1,500 that I paid someone else to paint my army. It's bogus. Don't go to a tournament for a painting contest. Enter a painting contest. Come on, guys. And if you don't go to a painting contest and roll dice to see who does better, I
think we're going to stop it right there. That's a good point. And let's see if we can get Bootleg back in the call.
Don't get me started.
Question number 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no chance, 10 being completely possible, is it possible to construct a universally balanced set of missions? And for this, and this is for the those organizers out there, we're going to start off with John from WarGamePainting.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no chance at all, 10 being completely possible, is it possible to come up with a universally balanced set of missions for all 40K tournaments?
10. It's in the back of the rule book. That's, you can't get simpler than that. It's the rules that we've all been playing with. They are made by the company. People can whine and complain, but honestly, if somebody sits down, there will always be biased in their decision to make how they play the scenario out. There will always be that guy who plays the swarm army, and he might not do it on purpose, but subconsciously he'll make every of those his mission types favored for swarm armies.
All right. As John returns back to his goose egg of flexibility, Dale, you're up. What's your thoughts?
It's possible. It's already been done. Like he said, it's in the book. It's not hard. You can add some fluff to it, but, it's already done for you if you don't want to do the work. But, it's possible. It's not that hard. You just got to put a little thought into it.
All right, SolidSmurf, what's your thoughts?
Going for the hat trick and saying stick to the book.
So it's a 10 for you?
It's a 10.
Tony, what's your thoughts?
It's a 10, but I don't think it is in the back of the book. I think the motivations of the corporations that design the rule set is varying, and I think that it is completely possible, but I don't think the back of the book is the answer. But if I was running a tournament, unless I ran it for several consecutive times and could make minor adjustments over time, I would still start with the rules in the back of the book, those missions, that's what we all know and play, and then change it over time. I don't think they're optimal, but yes, 10, it can be done.
All right. Speaking specifically for 40K tournaments, I'm going to say that the possibility of creating this is actually a 2. I'm going flip opposite of everyone else. The reason that it can't be done is that the rule system itself for 40K is not quite balanced enough, given the time lapse between codex releases, where you can start with the core rule system that exists in the edition of rules that you're playing in, unless you're getting that, Warhammer Fantasy, everyone gets a FAQ update right at once and completely brings them up to that level of playing, it can't happen. Once it does, though, again, like everyone else is saying, it becomes a 10 and it can be used straight from the back of the book, and hopefully the organizers are feeling flexible enough to make some sort of modification to make it fun for people who get enough of book play. Continued discussion.
You're wrong.
And Smurf is removed from the call.
Oh.
No, just kidding. Any other thoughts, guys?
You asked for further discussion and I gave it.
I don't feel that even if you update the codexes all at the same time and attempt to balance it, that it will ever really be balanced. I mean, if you look at some other tournament gaming, I mean, we'll exclude chess and checkers because that's just an abused excuse by me. But I mean, if you look at like Call of Duty, for instance, right, we have access to all the same weapons, we're playing on all the same maps. It's considered balanced, but there's internet connection, there's this dexterity, it's how expensive my controller is and how new it is, it's how big my TV is. There's all these different variables, so there's never really a sense of balance. So I don't understand why people try to shoot for this overlapping notion of it. You can set balanced game sets, but you'll never have a balanced game. It's just not going to happen. So there's always variables.
So here's a follow-on question for everyone. Should it be balanced? Or should it just be whoever has got the money to pay for the best, book out there should have a slight leg up on everyone else?
I think you make it what you want. We all have access to play Space Wolves and Blood Angels and Imperial Guard. We all have the access. And give or take $150, $200, all the armies cost about the same. I've priced out hundreds of lists. They're all about the same. GW does this intentionally. That you're going to pay X amount to get Y.
I need to put a point of clarification. Tony is not saying that for $150 or $200 you could buy an army. He's saying that the variance of cost between is only $150.
Even a list that's just min-max, like, Deathwing. Even Deathwing's running you about $300-$400 if you buy it direct from GW, as opposed to $600 for a Tyranid or IG list. So we all have the option. We choose the army that we choose because we either want a challenge or we want a particular flavor. So we handicap ourselves. The best lists and the best codexes are out there. Everybody's cognizant of them. The fact that you choose to play Dark Eldar or Tyranids as opposed to Space Wolves or Grey Knights is your choice. So, and we all drop the same amount of coins, so I don't understand what the issue is.
So, wait. I'm sorry, John. I don't mean to interrupt. I asked the question, though, should it be balanced? Are you saying no?
You can't make it balanced. You can make balanced games, but you can't make a balanced game set.
So you can make a balanced mission. The point is moot, right? Effectively?
Yeah.
Okay, John.
Nothing's ever balanced in life.
Well, I mean, it's not exactly the same.
I'm pointing at you.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like down here. Yeah. But as far as balance goes, balance is based on a per person thing too. I mean, like, I've played against 4 leaf blower lists and I've tabled 2 of them. I mean, it's not an issue of the codexes are balanced or not. It's skill level of the player. It's if you know what you're doing versus if you don't. So, I mean, just because you're willing to fork out $7,000 to get a pro-painted army from, WPD or whatever, not naming names, but you get this pro-painted army, just because you sit down, it looks pretty, you have the list that the guy won GT last year, doesn't mean you're going to win every time. I mean, it's based on skill level, so you cannot balance a game system on that just because there are people who are more technically minded than other people.
It's true. You give a 2-year-old a leaf blower and you're going to look over and he's going to be eating on your Valkyrie. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, guys. Honestly, I think Tony's right. Maybe the point is moot, and that the fact that it can never be means that you just deal with it if you want to play competitively, and you fork over the coin to get leg ups or enjoy the pain of the being the underdog. And guys, that concludes part 1 of the season 3, episode 1 RTD. We're going to be sizing back down to 4 as we continue the questions so that we can get through all 11. Peace.